Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, distinguished guests, and folks of all stripes, put your hands together for the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Houston, we have Paul Salazar Jr.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Long time, no time, folks. Very happy to be back on the podcast. Very happy to jump back into the groove of things here. I do apologize for not having a podcast for a little bit, not having an article out for a little bit. Lots of things have been happening, but let's just jump right into the podcast real quick. Let me intro the podcast. This is the Space Cadet Sports Podcast, your home for die-hard Houston Astros coverage. This is a Houston Astros fan podcast hosted by yours truly. I'm Paul Salazar Jr. I am a comedy writer, screenwriter, improviser, just general multi-hyphenate and silly goose native Houstonian that lives out in Los Angeles. I say that, but I've been back and forth between Houston very frequently lately. That's been part of me having to take a little bit of personal time and not be able to get podcasts and articles out here the last couple of weeks. I do apologize about that. It was my mom's 60th birthday party. I had a scheduled vacation, and also Hurricane Beryl hit the city of Houston. All of those things made it difficult for me to remain on my schedule, not only just to watch the Astros, but to be able to cover them, to be able to produce content, and to get that out to you. On top of that, all my scheduled vacation was a camping trip where I would have zero internet connection, essentially. So all of those things added up to me really getting behind on Astros coverage here. So I do apologize for those of you who need that coverage from me. I do know I have some listeners. I do appreciate your understanding, but we will forge ahead. It's kind of at this point tough to cover a couple of different series at one time. I will say that the Houston Astros kind of just towards the end of the All-Star break, we're running out of fumes a little bit. They were 6-4 in their last 10, which isn't too terrible, but their offense definitely took a couple steps back. Pitching has been looking solid, but their offense definitely failed them in that Rangers series where they just needed a couple more hits. They just needed a couple more hits with guys runners in scoring position. They needed a little bit more offense to outlast the team from Arlington. Unfortunately, they lost that series. But don't fret, Astros fans that only come to me for Astros news. The Astros are 50-46 on the season. That puts them one game behind the Seattle Mariners at the All-Star break here. They are just one game behind the Mariners to get the AL West title. However, they are just a couple games above Texas as well. Or Arlington, as I like to call them. So it's looking like all the panicking and all the worrying that people have been doing in the beginning of the season, all the burying of the Astros that people were so ready to do, was a little premature. I'm not going to sit here and say that things are looking rosy and we should all sit tight and be comfortable and be bullish on this team and start placing our bets now. Obviously, they have some growth to do, but that was never what I said this team was going to do. I never was saying that this team was just going to absolutely put all of this in the rearview mirror and not struggle again. Obviously, I've been waiting for them to get healthy. I'm like, once they kind of get healthy, I can say that. And this team has struggled with their health. Justin Verlander, Kyle Tucker, Victor Caratini, just all the pitchers that have had Tommy John surgery and won't be back for a while. It's been a tough season for injuries. Even right now, Jose Altuve did not partake in the All-Star Game festivities because he is rehabbing, or I guess I should say rehabilitating, letting his hand rest and getting better for the rest of the season instead of trying to play an exhibition game where he'll just get booed out of his mind. I totally get it. I think It's absolutely insane, the Astros hate out there, but it's part of what we have to wear. We've been so great as a team that even us fans have to wear a lot of hate. It's absolutely crazy, but that's just how people feel about us. They have big emotions. They like to blame their terrible lives on somebody else instead of their team performing poorly. They'd rather blame their sadness on us. We're gonna have to just have to wear that a little bit. But the Astros are positioned in a good spot. To all the people that were panicking at the beginning of the season, all the people that were saying the Astros are going to be sellers, all the people that were adamant that they knew where the season was going, I just kind of look at you and I'm like, see, this is why you're reasonable. This is why you come here to this podcast. I don't go for the hot takes. I don't go for the takes that are going to get me clickbait hits. I'd rather be reasonable and kind of talk all of the diehard fans, off the ledge there. Everything's going to be okay. Don't listen to the media. Just generally, the media is trying to get you riled up. So it's like, don't listen to all these silly talking points. And even the stuff like, I went back, I saw my dad, and my dad, I definitely love him, Dad. Shout out, Dad. But he was saying, and this is I would say a pretty I understand the manager of a team is always going to get criticism, but my dad was pretty critical of Espada, saying that that he just doesn't have it, that he prefers Dusty, and I get it. A lot of people prefer Dusty to Espada. You can't tell them. Wouldn't have believed that last season when everybody was burying Dusty. But my dad essentially, he wasn't completely critical, but his whole thing is like, yeah, he listens to the radio, he listens to the sports guys, and he's like, yeah, I prefer Dusty to Espada. But my whole thing is like, this manager, Joe Espada, has been managing really decent games. He definitely has been making mistakes. What manager doesn't? He's a rookie manager in a very tough situation. I think he's managed his team well, and the fact that they've gotten to this state in the standings is we got to give him his credit for that too, for being able to willingly mess with the lineup to try to get some things cooking. There's definitely people like to criticize that Joey Loperfido has not been playing that much, but he's been playing a little much for me, I'd say. I feel like he's getting his fair share of the starts. Especially I would like to see Chas McCormick in there more, but Chas McCormick has not been executing the way that we have seen him in the past. So I understand why Joey Loperfido would be in there more. Trey Cabbage also made some noise as an outfielder and basically demanded playing time with the way that he has been playing, the way he's been swinging a bat. So I do see, while I do see that Joe Espada does deserve some criticism, I don't think he is the main person to criticize on this team. So we're kind of taking a quick retrospective here at the All-Star break, looking back at how people have been feeling and the tensions that people have been feeling about this Astros team. And going forward, the Astros are starting their season back up with a series with the Seattle Mariners. So right out the gate, we're either going to feel really bullish about the Astros and they're going to take over the AL West lead, or the Astros are going to remain a couple games out of the lead, or a game and a half or whatever it may be out of the lead. Because they didn't have a good series against the Mariners, and the panicking will begin again. Here at the Space Cadet Sports Podcast, for those of you who have listened frequently, you know that we have the official panic meter, the Houston Astros panic meter this season. Space Cadet Sports official Houston Astros panic meter. It has not been touched for quite some time here. I have not been panicking, but a lot of people do. So we're looking at it right now. The panic meter is still set at it's go time. Sorry, it's go time. Yeah, that's where the panic meter sits right now. It says it's go time, which I agree. This is not the time to be panicking, but however, it's go time right now. This is not time to be losing games and to be losing series. So those lost series all will hurt. Those lost games will add up. So we're hoping that they continue their winning ways. when we're looking back on the season, there's definitely been a lot of surprises. Look forward to an article that I'm going to come out soon on the blog. For those of you who just listen to the podcast, I highly recommend going to check out the blog. I have a Substack that hosts the blog and the podcast. You can find that at spacecadetsports.substack.com. You go to the Substack, you put in your email, you get all of the posts, all of the memes, all of the podcasts directly emailed to you. Or if you're like me and you're more of a phone guy, you could download the mobile app. You put your email in there, and you can just click a button. You don't get the emails. You just get notifications on your phone, and you could read it all on your phone as if you had a Space Cadet Sports app. But it's not just for me. All the thousands of voices on Substack, you can subscribe to them too on that app. I highly recommend that experience. That's what I like. Go check that out. Download the app. Become a subscriber to the blog. We're going to have a new article of mid-season superlatives out on the blog soon, where I'm going to give every player, I'm going to at least give every regular player, I'm going to try to do everybody that was touched the roster at least this season, superlative, an award for what they've done this season. But when we're looking back at it, we really have a Ronel Blanco and to a little bit lesser extent, but definitely more recently, Hunter Brown have been pitching really well. Taylor Scott has been pitching really well. The offense has taken a step backwards, but where would we be without Jose Altuve? Jeremy Pena was heating up in the beginning of the season. Alex Bregman has been heating up towards the middle here. We've been getting offensive performances from Yordan Alvarez, obviously having an all-star season. There's been a lot of things that have happened this season that is just kind of what I thought would happen, kind of these things. But there has been some things that have been a little surprising. So, I'm going to take a moment here to eat a little bit of crow, to talk about the things that I have been wrong about. And I do think when we're talking about the things I've been wrong about, the first one with a bullet is going to be Jose Abreu. I definitely said in the beginning of the season that I did not see a situation in which Jose Abreu would be DFA'd. I said that if Jose Abreu would be DFA'd, it would be really bad news for the Astros, and it would be a really terrible thing, and it would essentially be this team giving up. They did not go along with that. That is absolutely not what happened. They kind of gave up on Jose Abreu early, which is not what I thought they would have done. I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing to do. I just thought that there was no way they were going to do that. I thought, honestly, if they were going to DFA him, it would be a thing that was a little too late, and they would do it after the All-Star break or around the trade deadline to make room if the team wasn't doing too well. Obviously, they felt like they weren't going to get anything out of Jose Abreu, so they cut him. I think he very much was a sacrificial lamb for this team. I do think that he came back swinging a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it just was not enough for the Astros to have confidence in him, and they made a big, bold decision and cut him. Obviously, since that has happened, the Astros have been doing better. I think it was a momentum shift for the Astros. It definitely was shocking. I think, it could have backfired if the Astros did not win games after that, but luckily the Astros were able to solidify. Luckily, the Astros have John Singleton, has been somebody I've been a little bullish on all season, and I feel like realistically bullish, I would say. I was never out here saying John Singleton was going to be an all-star. I was just saying he could be the answer for an everyday first baseman, especially in a platoon role. I feel like he would be great as a platoon role first baseman, and he has done that, and he has exceeded that. I would say that he has proven that he has good. I've said that he has a good, decent glove. He's proved that he has a good glove. I think with just a little bit of consistency out there, his defense has solidified and shown that he's shown that he can play good defense at first. He's showing that he has a great eye at the plate, which is something that I've always said. Sometimes his thing is that he'll strike out looking because he just feels confident that he can't do anything with the pitch or that it is a ball. So I do like his eye. I think he has proven to be a great player for this team. Mauricio Dubon has also stepped up in that first base role to help carry some of the slack. of that platoon. I wouldn't say slack, I guess, but carry his share of the load, I guess is what I'm trying to say in the platoon, because I'm not trying to say that John Singleton is slacking. But yeah, I do think that was something I got wrong. I do think when I got partially right, I get partial credit for this one. This was wrong, but also right. I said that Joey Loperfido would not be called up so soon, that he would be called up essentially in the summer. I got that wrong because they called him up fairly soon. And especially with Jose Abreu leaving the team, that made a spot open for Joey Loperfido as well. But the thing that I was correct about is Joey Loperfido. The team does not trust him at first base. Joey Loperfido maybe has played one inning at first base for the Houston Astros. He didn't look too terrible or out of place or like a deer in the headlights or anything. But it does seem like the Astros are not confident about his ability to defend that position. Whether that is completely Joe Espada or an organizational thing, we're really not sure. I do not know. I felt like maybe it was an organizational decision, but people online like to say that it's Joe Espada's fault. I don't know where they're getting that from. I'm not saying that's not valid. I don't know. But either way, Joey Loperfido, I was right about him not being seen as a first base replacement. He's definitely an outfielder. We've seen that he's been called a natural fielder in that Twin series that I definitely missed. I did go back and I watched all the games, folks. I will say that. I always say that I'm a diehard fan. I watch all the games and I read all the articles. I do. I watched all the games. When I came back, I watched like 6 baseball games in a row. It was kind of fantastic. Wish we would have won more, but that was that was a lot of fun. But yeah, in that Minnesota series, Joey Loperfido did that amazing catch that he robbed a home run and he caught it barehanded in his glove. Joey Loperfido's a natural outfielder. He looks amazing with those catches he does out in the field. I imagine this team wants him there where he is a plus defender. I mean, the Houston Astros has some amazing outfielders right now when it comes to defensive fielding. And with Kyle Tucker out, there definitely has been a lot of baby birds to feed. I've said that's been one of the calls that I've been right about. The outfield situation being a logjam, and Joe Espada, I think this is another place he gets credit. He's definitely managed all those baby birds, all those mouths to feed very well in the outfield. I feel like Dubon, Jake Myers, Chas McCormick, Joey Loperfido, Trey Cabbage, and Yordan Alvarez have all been balanced in and out of there very well. And when Kyle Tucker was still healthy, he was being mixed in as well. I feel like he's got Joe Espada has gotten a great result out of his platoon outfield this season. We're hoping to see more from Chas McCormick, but it does look like Jake Myers is the everyday center fielder like he was stated to be in the beginning of the season. I think when Kyle Tucker comes back, it's going to be even tighter. We'll have to see which direction the team goes in. Joey Loperfido, guys like Joey Loperfido and Spencer Getty this season, I would much rather have those guys in AAA working on their pitch selection, working on Spencer Getty's pitch shapes and all of that, getting him right, working with Joey Loperfido to cut down on that strikeout percentage, but this season we've had so many injuries that we've needed them at the main club, and they're kind of learning on a big level. So when we get healthier, will Trey Cabbage stay with the team, or will Joey Loperfido stay with the team when Tucker comes back? That is remains to be seen, is what I'm trying to say. I do think that it is going to be an organizational decision as to which, how they are going to, how they want to develop Joey Loperfido. If it's time for him to stay up and work out his stuff at the major level as a guy off the bench, or if they want him to get everyday reps in AAA. But we will have to see what the organizational decision is on that. Is what Dana Brown is thinking there. I do think, unsung hero of this group is definitely mi primo, Cesar Salazar. Cesar Salazar, being the backup catcher since Victor Caratini has been injured. He's really been a revelation. He has been great defensively. Definitely there were some pass balls and stuff like that, but his pitch framing is great. His game calling, he looks like he is very much a motivational speaker out there, helping his pitchers out, pardon me, framing his pitch as well. He also has brought his bat with him from AAA. Cesar Salazar has gotten a lot of RBIs in his limited sample size. So, I feel like the Astros from top to bottom, while it has been a bit of a struggle this season, they have gotten a lot of good performances out of people that you would expect, people that you wouldn't expect. And, there's some things that we just know exactly what to expect. Like, sadly, Gray Kessinger, who is an amazing defensive specialist, but has just been struggling to get his hit here at the major league level. We're rooting for Gray. This is no slander on the man. We know what he does well. And we're proud of that, and that's why he's on the team, but we're rooting for him to get that first hit. But with very limited plate appearances, it's going to be hard for that guy to get that hit, which he's not there for his batting prowess. So, his highlights are still his defensive plays and his shutout 1-2-3 inning that he did when he was a positional player pitching. While I'm sitting here trying to think, those were the big things that I got wrong this season. A couple of little things that I got right. We're still going to keep track of a lot of these narratives because a lot of these things have yet are still they remain to be seen, I guess, to hit that catchphrase again, but I'm kind of looking at the tea leaves and trying to figure out. It's hard sometimes when you're out here, when you put your opinion out here, you are open to criticism. You're definitely going to be wrong very frequently. So, a lot of these things have yet to play out. I think one thing that I was optimistic about that still could potentially play out, so I don't want to bury this too soon, but Rafael Montero potentially getting back to form and being able to be like that seventh inning guy. It looks like Taylor Scott is very much stepping into that seventh inning spot, or I guess I would be like sixth inning spot if we're being, we go Abreu, Presley, Hader, so that other setup to the setup guy, So I do think that Taylor Scott is now that guy as opposed to Montero, but Montero maybe can turn it around still. I don't know if he can leapfrog Scott the way that Taylor Scott has been pitching this season. And even so, like Seth Martinez has been pitching well this season, but Montero has still had a bit of an up and down season. I think I still have hope for him. I still think that he can do a lot, help us and be productive and potentially be a productive arm in the playoffs still. But yeah, right now I would say I haven't completely had to eat my words on that, but there's a potential for me having to eat my words on that one. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to things I've got right too, I don't want to jinx too much. So it's like, I think that's just kind of where I'm going to leave it. It's okay, Carla. Carla here is saying that I've gotten a lot more wrong, and this is all revisionist history. I know, Carla, but it's the middle of the season. At the end of the season, we can go back and look at all the things I got wrong. I promise. But yeah, for now, we're definitely going to go ahead and look ahead. And speaking of looking ahead, we're going to look ahead at this Astros Mariners update. So right now on MLB, there is no listed starters. So we'll go ahead and check ESPN to see if ESPN has listed starters for the Astros Mariners series, but that might not come out until tomorrow. These games on Friday might not have a listed starter quite yet. Let's see here. We're trying to get to the schedule. Oh man, I thought I had this up already, so I apologize, folks. But yeah, the Houston Astros versus Seattle Mariners. Yeah, they don't have anything listed on ESPN as well as for their starting pitchers. But for this series, it's going to be a huge series for the Astros coming right out of the gate when we're looking at their their schedule out the gate on Friday. Obviously, they have a 3-game series against the Mariners there, and that's going to be on the road. I apologize, folks. My whole system went crashing down here, so I have to pick it back up and get the calendar back up. There we go. All right, folks. So yeah, after the All-Star break here on Friday, they have a 3-game series against Seattle on the road. Then they have a 3-game series against Oakland on the road, a day off on Thursday, and then a big home stretch where they play the Dodgers, the Pirates, and the Rays. So we get some divisional games right out the gate. We have a huge divisional contest in the Seattle Mariners, and then we have honestly a test to make sure the Astros can put away, basement dwellers with the Oakland A's. So these series are both must-win series because the Astros need divisional wins, and also to prove that they're not slacking. Their offense is back. I feel good about the pitching now, but we need that offense to be consistent. We need Kyle Tucker back in the offense, but until then, we need our bats to remain consistent. And our bats have been pretty good this season. It's just been some tough stretches for the offense against Texas. They were able to, going back, for the 4-game series for July, which has been the tough month for me so far, the 2 weeks that I've struggled with, they definitely won a series in Toronto. They lost a series in Minnesota, swept the Miami Marlins, almost at Dolphins, and then they lost a series at Texas. So, right now, they definitely have been a little up and down. But with the way the pitching has been going, if the offense can just solidify here, which they have shown that they can do, but, a little streakiness happens from time to time when you're not at your best of health. We're hoping this break gets the Astros healthy. They come back strong, and they're going to just show the team, the league, put the league on notice. Excuse me, folks. Wow, I think that was the first time I actually used the cough button. But yeah, sorry about that. They're going to put this league on notice and let people know that the Astros are still a force to be reckoned with. They're still the league boogeyman, and you can't sleep on them or else they'll haunt all of your nightmares. I think going forward, if this team can remain healthy, we have a fun rest of July and end of our summer to look forward to. However, if Justin Verlander just can't get right, and if Kyle Tucker keeps taking a long time with this injury, and Tuve and Alvarez keep jumping on and off the 10-day IL or just having to need days off, it will be a long grind. I do think that the current version of this team, like just how they stand right now before the All-Star break, I feel like they could win the division. But it won't be handed to them. They'll have to win a lot of tough games. They'll have to win a lot of close games. And they'll have to be really consistent. So that's why they need Tucker, and that's why they need Verlander. They need all the help they can get. And if they have them, I really think that they will be able to win this division with no problem. But that we have to see them play to that level, and they have shown a lot of signs of it, especially as of late, but it needs to remain consistent going forward. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. For those of you out in Houston right now, please be safe. I do know that Hurricane Beryl has a lot of devastation out there. I do know that there are a lot of people without power. I do know that there are a lot of people struggling. I'm but a lowly podcaster, but if there's any way that I can help, definitely do not hesitate to reach out to me and let me know if you think there's a way I can help, and I will do my very best to help you get what you need, or to help you, to help point you where there are resources that you need, if nothing else. Be safe, Houston. I love you, and this devastation breaks my heart. I wish I could do more. I wish I could be there to do the most for y'all. But in the meantime, please take care of yourself. Please take care of others, and be considerate of your surroundings and your neighbors, and just show everyone the love that is in Texas, especially in Houston. For those of you who haven't subscribed to the Substack, go ahead and check that out. My Substack at spacecadetsports.substack.com. You can put your email in there and become a subscriber. Definitely that helps me out, helps out the podcast. And yeah, just let me know what you think of the podcast. Let me know what you think of your Astros, where you think they're going to fall, and at the end of the season. I'm still pushing for them winning the division because that's their best path to success. But let me know where do you think they're going to end up this season? I want to know what you think. I want to know your thoughts. You can reach out to me on the Substack or at Space or at social media at Paul Salazar Jr. on all social media platforms. Or if you're just here for cute dog pictures, you can check out Carla's social media at good.dog.carla. Thank you so much for listening, folks. Please be safe, be strong, take care of yourself, and take care of others out there. Keep your head up, son. And as always, vamos Astros.